What's going on, everyone? Thanks so much for joining me today. This video is a continuation of the Dryfire series, which we're going to be covering loading and unloading of your handgun. I have here a striker fire gun, double action and single action. Now, the double action and single action, it's very similar to the striker fire gun, but it's just an additional step that you need to take before holstering up. So without further ado, let's get started. First, I hold the gun in my right hand like I intend to use it. I don't hold it in any weird motion. I hold it like I intend to use it. Point it in a safe direction, finger off the trigger. So there are a couple different things that we can do. We can load this slide forward like we're going to do now, or slide lock to the rear. One additional step that you can take if you intend to load it with a slide forward is you can pull the slide back, check the chamber and magazine well check to make sure there's no obstructions. Check your magazine, make sure it's at the capacity where you need it to be, and insert the magazine. Push up and then give it a little tug down. You can grab the slide either thumbs forward or thumbs to the rear. It doesn't really matter. Find what works best for you. Pull the slide all the way back and then you let it go under its own power. You don't ease the slide forward. So you let the slide go under its full spring pressure. Next, I like to do what's called a press check. I like to be absolutely sure I know what condition my weapon is in by pulling back ever so slightly to see, or a little bit further to digitally feel in low light. Once I have confirmed that it is loaded, I'm going to release the slide. I'm going to tap the back of the slide like a forward assist of the AR to make sure everything goes back in the battery, and then holster up. Okay, that about covers that. Next, unloading. First thing that you have to do is remove the magazine. A lot of times people don't remove the magazine and they just rack the slide. All they did is extract the round that was in the chamber and load a new one. So remove the magazine first. You can either rack the slide and lock it to the rear, or you can just lock the slide to the rear. All right, I've locked the slide to the rear, check the chamber, check the magazine well, and I ease the slide forward. I ease the slide forward because I don't like slamming the slide on an empty chamber. It can damage the firearm, especially with a 1911, if you let it slam on an empty chamber. So this is the only time that I ease the slide forward. All right, so that covers loading and unloading with the slide forward. Loading and unloading with the slide rearward. Once again, hold it like I intend to use it. Lock the slide to the rear. I check the chamber. Check the magazine well. This method allows a little bit more ease of inserting the magazine. Check the magazine capacity, make sure where I need it to be. Insert the magazine, give it a little push-pull, and then I release the slide, either mechanically by pushing down on the lever or manually pulling back and releasing it. Either way works. All right, press check, either visually or a little bit further digitally. Release, tap, and that's it. Unloading is exactly the same. Remove the magazine first, chamber, magazine well check, and that's it. Couple things that you should notice. I do not cover the ejection port and catch the round in my hand. I just let it fall and hit the ground. If you catch the round, there is a chance of changing the angle of the live round and having the primer strike the ejector, causing a detonation, and that will cause injury to yourself, including losing digits. And the other thing I do not do is I do not pull the trigger as part of the unloading sequence. To me, that's way too much like Russian roulette. Why would you pull the trigger to see if it's unloaded? If you found a gun and you picked it up, would you pull the trigger to see if it was loaded? So for me, the only time that I pull the trigger is for dry fire, live fire, or disassembly. So this weapon, I have to pull the trigger in order to disassemble it. All right. So for double action firearms, it's going to be exactly the same. I'm just going to do slide forward method. Insert the magazine, push pull, pull the slide all the way back, and then release it and press check. Okay. Tap the back of the slide. Notice the hammer is cocked to the rear. I have to mechanically decock it. And that puts it in a safe manner right before I holster up, I put my thumb on top of the hammer. That way, when I'm holstering up, if something gets into the trigger, it's not going to discharge. Unloading is exactly the same. Chamber, magazine well check. All right. Next is single action. I'm going to lock the slide to the rear, check the chamber, magazine well, insert the magazine after making sure the capacity is where I need it to be. Push pull, release the slide, press check, and with this, because it's a single action gun, meaning the hammer has to be cocked back so that it can fire, the safety has to be engaged. Once I engage the safety, my thumb goes on top of the hammer and I holster up. Unloading, knock the safety off, rack it, lock it, chamber, magazine will check, ease the slide forward, safety goes on. If I need to store it with the hammer down, I'll take the safety off, grab the hammer, and lower the hammer. But that's only on an empty chamber. I hope this information helps. Thank you so much for joining me today. And make sure you like, subscribe, better yet share. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section down below. And I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.